Okay, so pretty much this is DaVinci Fusion Log 01 or DaVinci DF01. Pretty much the log just updating about my progress and learning DaVinci Resolve and anything I find out about it, like something new. So pretty much currently it's the 19th of October 2022, and yes, pretty much well, for this one, I didn't start doing it today. I started at during the night of 17th of October, so pretty much 2 days before, and I continue on the 18th, which was just yesterday, which is on a Tuesday. So basically, what I did, or like what I want to discuss, is pretty much the usage of expressions in order to make pulsing color lights. So pretty much in this video you can see like I have an octagon. Well, not a full octagon, it's a broken octagon that has this outline just oscillating itself, and I gave it a glow effect, and as you can see it is pulsing in different colors. And the way how I did it, that was like the main I guess the main challenge that I had to face. So at first, like, I was thinking, how am I supposed to do this? And I thought back, oh wait, frequencies, sine wave, we do have it oscillating or like going from the values of 1 to 0 and 0 to -1s, and I was thinking like, hey, why not I do that? Only problem with that is that I need to actually have 3 different wave expression or sine waves in order to make that happen. So okay, if that was the case, then the first 2 wave was easy. Pretty much I just did like sine, then sine to time, and the second one was negative sine to time. So pretty much like whenever the first sine went to -1, the second sine would be at 1, and vice versa. Only problem with that, since like we're playing with colors in computer, it's either the CYMK values or the RGB values, and the one that I was playing was pretty much RGB. And problem with RGB is like it's not just 2 colors, it's 3 colors. It's red, green, and blue, and like the first 2 expression I use it for red and green. So for the blue one, it was like trouble like getting how to get it to work. So pretty much like the first one is just pretty much just pulsing in the colors of red and green, and like it was a bit too fast, so I had to like divide, like using like math knowledge back from school, which I long abandoned because like people say like, oh, you don't have any use for this, but turns out we do. I do. So pretty much like from the knowledge from math, in order to elongate the duration of the period, we need to lengthen it by, well, in this case I divided by 2, which did work. We did the job of like making the sine wave longer, but of course like as you can see in probably like test 2 or test 3, like it did become longer, but it's not long enough. And yeah, I did try to fix the problem with trying to get all of them to pulse at the same time, or like a pulse peak independently between the 3 colors. First idea was like, okay, we know that if we were to add a value outside the sine function, it would just increase the amplitude. What we want is to move forward or offset the timing of the wave. So pretty much what I did was like, this was like yesterday, like after class, like I did ask like discuss this with my friends and be like, hey, you guys know any how to do this? And be like, oh, why don't you just plus a value within the bracket, within the function? So pretty much like within the function it was sine, the function is sine, and within the bracket it was time. So pretty much just time plus something in order to offset it. So pretty much say, okay, sure, I will try it. But at first, like, I just add by 1, add by 10, didn't felt right. So later on, I was thinking, it was like, hey, does DaVinci does not have pi? And turns out it does. Since like it's using like expressions, so pretty much like all the math expressions more or less over there. So I use pi, so pretty much sine times in bracket time plus pi, and it did the work. But the only problem was that since we're only playing with three sine wave, like it did work, like it did peak at different times, but the problem is that there will be this one time where after the first sine wave goes down and want to transit to the second one, there's a gap, and like the third sine wave is at the negative values. So pretty much with that, it turns to black, as you can see, and that is not something that I want. It was like, like it looks good, like we got all the colors that we wanted, but the only problem is that they're showing additional 4 color, and I was like, okay, how to fix this? The first time being, I let it be. I just increase the value of the period. I just elongate the periods. Then afterwards, I was thinking, okay, if this was CYMK, then it won't be a problem. So yeah, there's that. So I was thinking, I was like, hey, okay, why don't we just, like, since we only have 3 sine wave, we want to peak at 3 different times, why don't we just plus it by pi over 3 then? So pretty much like the difference would be pi over 3, then 2 pi over 3, then 3 pi over 3, which pretty much is pi. So I did that, and it did work. It did oscillate. It did like change between one color to another, though it was still dark in terms, because of, it's going to negative. Well, in terms of color, in terms of RGB values, is only just from 0 to 1, or like it's 0 to 1, which means 100%. In actual values, or in usual values, it would be 255. So pretty much what I did was like, okay, in order to like remove the dark colors to make it, look brighter, to look more neonish, what I did was I actually used an absolute function. So absolute function is pretty much like making all the numbers to positive and absolute value. So it did work. Like pretty much the sine wave that went from a sine that goes down, and like the other sine waves just like intersect one another and peak at different time, ended up being this little, like, what is it called? It's just like this little bouncy or rainbow pattern that people will usually draw as I guess laces for clothing and whatnot. The good thing about that is like it works. It shows like colors. The only problem is, I guess like it was for the color red, that it didn't show pure red. Like for the green and blue, it did show blue. Although they do show like the in-between color between of those. But for red, they didn't show exactly red. They show pink. But I guess that's okay. Like, I don't really mind. Like if you're going for like those yogurt kind of colors, then that's the way to go. Other than that, that is pretty much it for today's log. Expression is nice. Expression is nice, and I guess I'm gonna try to figure out other ways to actually use or like things to actually animate or make in DaVinci. Not sure what to do, to be honest. Need to find some inspiration. Like probably, hey, why not make a video? Eh, I would if I wasn't too lazy when it comes to script writing or like planning things out. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. This is the N archive. I am Captain N, and yeah, this is pretty much it for today's log, DaVinci Fusion log. See you next time.